left her here by herself since she fell and broke that hip a few months ago. My buddy Jack, who hadn't been doing real well, wants to go up to Fox Creek Horse Camp, stay a few days, so I'll go up there and keep him company. Trey and probably Kevin may come up and ride a little bit, but Jack and I are not going to be riding. I got out of the horse business a few years ago after a pretty bad horse wreck. So, anyway, but I told Jack anytime he wanted to go to the mountains, camp or anything, that I'd go with him. Told him that years ago, and that's what I'm doing. So, anyway, we're just now leaving the farm and headed up to Fox Creek, and I'm going to take the mountainous route. I'm going to take what I call the scenic route. I'm not going up the interstate. This is what we call State Street. This is downtown Bristol. And the state line, the Virginia-Tennessee state line, literally runs right down that yellow line. That is the state line, right straight down the middle of Main Street, Bristol. You can tell in here, but there's some brass plaques every few feet down through there that marking the state line. Brass tacks are about every 20 feet. Just on the state line. Virginia's on the left, Tennessee on the right. That's the old train station. That's where come in and leave when I was in the military. Of course, it's not in use anymore. Coming up, that's the well-known, iconic Bristol, Virginia, Tennessee, a good place to live sign. Connects the two states. Okay. All right, I'm out on 421, just coming out of town. We're in Tennessee, headed toward Holston Mountain. We've got to cross. We've got to cross this mountain range. That'll be the first mountain we cross. It's called Holston Mountain. We'll go out here and we'll cross South Holston Lake and then cross Holston Mountain. South Holston Lake is built on the South Fork of the Holston River. And where the Holston, where all the forks, the North, Middle, and South Fork, where they all come together down toward what's now Kingsport, is what used to be called Long Island and Holston. That's where the Wilderness Road began. is Darter's Sports Center. There's the people I bought my outboard from. Take care of all my boating needs. Good outfit. Good boys. About to cross South Holston Lake. This is one of the narrowest places on the lake. That's why they got the bridge here, I reckon. Beautiful lake. Absolutely beautiful lake. Tough fishing. It is one tough fishing wrestle. The water's so incredibly clear. Deep and clear. Deep, clear water does not make for very good fishing. This one boat. Big old boat rack. Hardly any vehicles here, so that tells you what the fishing's been. This big old parking lot, half the time is absolutely chock full of boats, but not now. It is one beautiful lake. Mixed private land and national forest. The lake right back there, it's mostly national forest, but there is some private land. And right up here is a little community that's surrounded by national forest. And then from there all the way across to Shady Valley, all the way across the mountain is just solid national forest. In national forest now, and have been for a while, but the scattering of pieces of private property. I don't know what it is. Here is a crossroads. You go to the right and it takes you down to but down along the lake, actually, National Forest and Lake. It takes you down to Little Oak Campground, which is a National Forest Service campground. And that's right back there. And if you turn left, it takes you out Jacobs Creek, which is on the Virginia side. Now, the sign saying you're in Cherokee National Forest, but we've been in the forest for quite some time. We've been twisting, climbing. We're getting close to peeking out up here. Ways to go yet. It appears the top. Got a little picnic table over there. The Appalachian Trail crossing right here. And down in there is Shady Valley. So we're going down the backside of the mountain, on the backside from Bristol. It's not near as far from the peak. We peaked out back there when we crossed the Appalachian Trail. It's not nearly as far down here to the community of Shady Valley as it is down toward the other side. Shady Valley is considerably higher in elevation than Bristol. It's a fairly high little mountain valley up here. Pretty little community. And it's not nearly as steep going down this side either. It's not, you don't gain and lose the amount of elevation over here on this side, nor is the road nearly as steep. Back when I used to ride bicycle all the time, when I come up that other side, come up the lake side, pumping as hard as you could go on a good road bike, 4 miles an hour, as fast as you could go. You could come up this side right here at 12 miles an hour. I'm going to tell you something about the difference in the steepness of it. Community of Shady Valley. Beaver Dam Creek, which in times past, I mean, that was one of the most awesome trout streams you've ever seen in your life for fly fishing. You come over and catch a couple hundred trout, good trout, most any time you wanted to. I mean, it was awesome. Then they decided to not stock it anymore and call it a wild trout stream. Now all you can catch is little bitty rascals. This is the crossroads. Country store. Now I'm headed up toward Damascus, Virginia. If I went straight back behind me, I'd be heading toward Elizabethton and Stony Creek, Tennessee. I'm still in Tennessee. I'm headed up toward Damascus, Virginia, which is a well-known stop, probably one of the best-known stops on the entire Appalachian Trail system. Following the creek, Beaver Dam Creek, for miles through there, right down in the bottom of this narrow valley. My God, I used to come up here and fish this creek. I'd drive over from down, I'd fish it sometimes 7 days a week. It was just unbelievably good fly fishing. That was before the Game and Fish Commission went woke. Went back to this stuff. Tried to put it backward. Try to make a wild trout stream out of it. Well, it had wild trout in it. For heaven's sake, I mean, it had tons of native, you know, rainbows, browns, rookies, the native stuff that was born here, raised here. They were small fish, but they were gazillions of them. But they would stock it with browns, rainbows, and they were holdovers. I mean, my God, they're trout would holdover trout would be in here for years. The quality of the trout fishing was just incredible. I mean, it was mind-boggling good. And of course, you had in the main creek here, you had tributaries that come in, which were mostly just brook trout stream. So now it is predominantly little brook trout. Little trout, occasionally a rainbow. They're little guys. When this creek had the potential, the food in it, the fly hatches and stuff, it was just mind-boggling how good the fishing really was. Before they decided to run it. They did that on the Tennessee side here. Tennessee did it. Virginia did the same thing over on White Top Laurel. It was not quite as good as Beaver Dam, but they absolutely run fabulous fishing. That was on Beaver Dam and White Top Laurel in the name of wokeness. Good grief. Come down through here for several miles. I have not passed the first car or had the first car overtake me. But I have passed 6 motorcycles. It's pretty motorcycle country, that's for sure. That big beautiful creek running down the side of the highway over here from mile after mile. Now we're coming into, this is a little recreation area. This is what this is, Backbone Rock. And you look, the road goes through the tunnel there, through the rock. There is a, well, let's find it here. There's a, you got a walkway around the top of it now. Of course, it used to not have that. And there's a picnic area around here. Creek. Going through the rock. Backbone Rock. And there's a really nice picnic area. All along this creek over here. Picnic, camping area. Several people camped there. Now you come back out on private land. We are coming into Damascus, which is probably the best known stop on the whole Appalachian Trail. They have trail days up here, and it's a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal. People come from all over the country to come to trail days here at Damascus. And at Damascus, what we've been following down through there with Beaver Dam Creek. And here at Damascus, Beaver Dam Creek, which drains a big chunk of Tennessee, the valley there in Tennessee, flowing north, then flowing south is White Top Laurel, which flows miles and miles down through Virginia. And then Laurel Bloomery Creek, still flowing from Tennessee, from East Tennessee. So these three big creeks that in most areas be called rivers, they're big creeks, and they come together here at Damascus. Damascus was a trout fishing paradise before both Virginia and Tennessee game commissions went, whoa, Cones. You can catch tons of little bitty fellas now, but nothing like it was. Anyway, those three big creeks come together and they float a few miles, just 3 or 4 miles, down till they hit the South Fork of the Holston River. And it's a really good big river flowing all the way down into South Holston Lake that we crossed earlier. This is Main Street, what they call Laurel Avenue. Right here. riding in the Virginia Creeper Trail, which was an old railroad bed, mountain railroad bed, abandoned in the state of Virginia. Took it over and made it's a bike trailer and hiking and horse trail. Of course, I don't want to ride the horses on it, because there's way too many bikes and hikers, and Lord, all that way too much stuff. But anyway, it's a heck of a trail. But and you got all this through here. You got shuttle services. See all these bikes here? Half of these are, I mean, this is bike town, mountain bike town, but these shuttle services, Creeper Trail, bike and shuttle, Lord help. They take you up toward Green Cove. In other words, they're taking you upstream. Well upstream, way up on trail near the North Carolina line, and let you out, and they ride down to Damascus. That's some exercise. Here come a couple now. I mean, they're all over the place. There's bikers absolutely everywhere. But they're riding downhill. Heaven to Betsy. When I used to ride bicycle, I used to find the steepest, meanest places I could ride uphill. That's what does you some good. But they come out here, and I mean, the Creeper Trail's quite a few miles long, but instead of riding up it, no, they ride down it. They have to pay a shuttle service to take them up to the head of the trail, and they ride down. Lord help. I find that right strange. But while we were coming down Beaver Dam back there in Tennessee, we were going downstream. We were following the stream down to Damascus. Now we're following White Top Laurel. Well, we've been following for the past mile or so. It's where White Top Laurel and Laurel Bloomery creeks come together right here. And we're going. Laurel Bloomery Creek goes that way. It goes to Laurel Bloomery, Mountain City, Tennessee. This goes over to Konnarock, Virginia. And we will follow White Top Laurel upstream here. We're going up this hill, this mountain. And White Top Laurel actually starts way on the other side of the mountain. So we're following it up the mountain here for a good long way. And then the creek will leave the highway. We'll be pretty much heading north, and the creek will head pretty much east, and then we'll loop around the mountain, and we'll pick this same creek up on the other side of the mountain. You think, well, I mean, we go up this long mountain, cross over the top of it, go down the other side, and pick up the same creek again. But it just made this huge horseshoe loop around the mountain. So once again, we're working our way up and over another mountain. Beaver Dam Creek back there, they've had, I guess, looks like more rain. And then Beaver Dam had come through Shady Valley up there, which is a lot of farming land, and it had more sediment in the water. The water's a little cloudier from all the rains that we've had the last few days. But White Top Laurel here, it's crystal clear. There again, right up through here, we're following that Creeper Trail, the Virginia Creeper Trail. The highway's going up one side of the creek, and the creeper trail pretty much going up the other side. This was a beautiful creek. Beautiful creek. Wild and living. The trout that I have caught out of here. Yeah, Mr. Betsy. This will be some of the absolute most awesome trout fishing you've ever seen. Wokeness, absolutely running. And if they didn't have to worry about the native trout. My gosh, the native trout were in there anyway. It was oodlings of them. Oh well. Here, right down there's a little parking lot, and that's where White Top Laurel leaves the highway, heads off through the mountain over through there. We're headed pretty much straight north, and the creek is heading right now east. And it'll loop around the mountain and we'll pick it up. Pick up that same creek again over here on the other side. Down through there is what they call Bear Tree Campground, and there's a lake. Forest Service built a lake back there, got a little beach on it. Trout fishing in it. It's called Bear Tree Gap. Right through here. We're just about to peak out. Start down the back side of the mountain here in just a minute. We have peaked out. We're headed down the back side towards the community of Konnarock right now. There again, if you're riding a bicycle coming up the way we came, that's a leg burner. Miles and miles and miles up through there. But coming up this side from Konnarock Valley, that's pretty gentle. Short. It's another one of them 4 miles an hour on a bicycle coming up the other side, 12 miles an hour, 14 miles. I've come up through here at 14 miles an hour before. Considerably more gentle. And like when we left Bristol and came across the Holston Mountain into Shady Valley, that Shady Valley was considerably higher elevation than Bristol. Then we left, come down Shady Valley up to Damascus, and we come across the mountain to Konnarock. This valley up here is considerably higher than Shady Valley. Matter of fact, this valley that we're dropping off into right now is right at the foot of the highest mountains in the state of Virginia, which is Mount Rogers, Pine Mountain, and White Top, a series of peaks that the horse camp sets its foot up. This is a lot higher, quite a bit higher than Bristol in elevation. Probably 2,000 feet at least higher, this valley, than Bristol. Just coming into the community Konnarock, Virginia. This used to be quite a place years ago. It really did. It was wild country. There was believe it or not, a dance hall up here in the middle of nowhere, and it was wild. And I do mean wild. Yeah. That was something else. And it, many years ago, this was one of the few areas that really had a pretty good deer population in it. So, I mean, when deer season come along, man, land, there would be an army of deer hunters coming here to hunt these mountains through here. And Astor Weaver would put on a supper for all the deer hunters, and dancing and music. He had what's called Eagle's Nest dance hall up here. It was quite a place. Quite a place. my. I hadn't got time to show you everything by any means, but right here I could take a sharp turn to the right and then go down into this canyon like and pick up that White Top Laurel Creek again. The creek that we left on the other side of the mountain. And then I could take this little road right there, and that'll take you, well, loop all the way back around and eventually come back out of Laurel Bloomery and back over on the Tennessee side. But this being the community of Konnarock. And for many, many years, this was the center of our deer hunt, my deer hunt. Came up here and camped for many, many years. Because for a long time, the deer were spotty around here. And back up a hollow right through, if you go straight up through there, that comes back into a hollow going back toward Iron Mountain. There's that creek. Creek again. It's the same creek on the other side of the mountain. A little bit smaller over here because you're getting toward the headwaters of it. I forgot what I was talking about. Guess it wasn't important. Oh yeah, and we're our favorite place to hunt. Our favorite place to hunt for a long time. Right back up here. You turn off a little old short road right here that goes right up over at Hills into an old graveyard. We'd hunt that mountain range back in there. And what it was, the Forest Service had bought a farm from this older gentleman named Mr. Powers. They bought that farm from him. The people. It was 180 acres more or less is the way it read. And quite a good deer population on that place. It was a great place to hunt for a long, long time. But it actually was national forest, but hardly anybody knew it. Because a long time before the Forest Service marked it or designated, showed that it was national forest. But they had bought it from Mr. Powers for many, many years. It was like it had been a private farm, pretty much surrounded by national forest, but it had apple orchards on it. It had 3 apple orchards on it. Oh my goodness. One of the best apples you ever seen. Now you go in there now, you can't even see a sign of it ever been in an apple orchard. Huh. Times they do change. But it was a good place to hunt for a long time. Probably still has some pretty decent hunting on it now, but the deer spread out all over the place. Hardly anybody hunts. The old stomping grounds, I guess you could say, the old national forest things again. Most everybody's out hunting another place, some other place. And that place back there, if you hunted the farm part of it, you know, around the fields, around the edges, it was really a great afternoon place to hunt. But an all-day hunt, like going back on the mountain, the mountain's really mean back in there. It's steep, got lots and lots of laurel and stuff. Kind of hard hunt, really. Pretty hard place to hunt, except right around the edge of the old farm. But of course, back when I was younger, you'd fight your way all the way back to the top of the mountains naturally. But there are places that are more pleasant to hunt now than that spot. But you know, I might come back up there this year and just hunt some of it just for the dickens of it. That's where I used to hunt. That old store right there was Weaver's store. Master Weaver's store. Boy, what a time we've had in there. He sold that to somebody, come right over here and built another store right beside. Now there's neither stores in operation. It's unbelievable. Community breakfast, where's that? Community center. This was quite a place. This was Weaver's. My gosh, that White Top Laurel come right down around by the store right there. You can go right out of the store right there and catch trout like crazy. So anyway, we're headed on up now toward Grindstone Campground and the horse camp. Getting pretty close to the horse camp now. It's been threatening rain. It's been stormy looking all along here. Boy, the mountain is socked in. White Top Mount Rogers is looking mean up on top. That's a different world up there, that. Top third of that mountain is Canadian forest. It's northern Canadian forest. It's really something. It's a whole new world up there. You can ride up there, and that's why it's so popular for horseback riding. Come up here on the hottest summer day, ride up in that country, and there's miles and miles and miles of trails up there. And you'd be up there with a coat on. I was up there one time, camped out on top. Backpacked in, camped out on top of the 5th of July, and I thought I was going to freeze. I had a pair of leather gloves. That wasn't enough. My hands were froze. I mean, that's a whole new world up there. You come up here at the horse camp and you ride out of here, and the further up you go, the cooler it gets. By the time you get up there on top, it is cool. And there's miles and miles and miles of natural openings that around here they call heath balls. The ground is actually tundra. It's an Arctic tundra type of thing. It's really unique. They call that country up in there Island in the Sky. It's an island of northern Canadian forest and Arctic tundra. down here in the southwest Virginia. It's a whole new world up there, I'm telling you. You're not in the southern hardwoods like you are right down here. You get out of that and get into that northern stuff. And what we're going by right here now is Grindstone Campground. It's really large, very extremely nice Forest Service campground. And it was closed for whatever reason, I don't know. And I suppose it's still closed. Any campers or anything spotted back in there anywhere. It's a shame. I mean, Forest Service coming on, there was several nice campgrounds up here. They closed every cotton picking one up. Raccoon Branch and Grindstone. Service can, I think they're the poor stepchild of the whole government system, but they certainly don't get the funds that they need to operate anything there. Campgrounds just going to pot. It's closed. I mean, I don't see it. Camper of anywhere back in there. I reckon they're still closed. That's a shame. That is a real shame. There's a car behind me. I'm going to let him get around. He seemed to be in a hurry. I ain't. But anyway, coming out at a lot of areas where there's horse trails that come down through a lot of these fields over here, around through the woods, and they meander around all over the place. Somebody stopped right here, riding out of here, I reckon. This is Lewis Fork, and Lewis Fork Wilderness area back in here. They don't have enough cattle on it or anything else to keep the openings eat down. Horseback riding's not as big a deal as it used to be, is it? See how many's up here at the horse camp. We're right at the horse camp. There are trails on either side of the road that access the mountains on either side. Iron Mountain over to the side, or Mount Rogers over to the right, Iron Mountain over to the left. Many miles of good mountain country up in here to hunt, hike, horseback ride. Well, there's somebody at the horse camp. There's one or two at the horse camp. Jack down here. Where am I supposed to park? Where?